Blooper number one.
Blooper number one. Well, hey y'all, Little Horse Creek Farms, Little Horse Creek Adventures down here today. We're gonna mess with something that's been needing to be done for a good little old while. We're gonna try to adjust the sights on a Henry 22 rifle, lever action rifle. We've been shooting it a little bit and it needs some adjustment, so we're gonna kind of work on that this afternoon. Now I'm not trying to one up nobody. There's a lot of good sight in and sight adjustment videos out there. Mainly doing this video for the fun of it, because we like doing videos and we like target shooting. We've never done a target shooting video to date. Today is October 3rd. But I also wanted to pass on a few thoughts in the process. We're going to adjust the Buckhorn sights. We're not going to mess with the hooded front sight on this rifle. But the Buckhorn on, and the gun is unloaded. You always want to make sure of that. But the Buckhorn sight on this Henry rifle has got like a set screw in the middle of it. Now I'm gonna tell you, I do not have a good history with screws on firearms. I have boogered up way too many slots on screws on firearms over the years. And when I say way too many, I'm not talking about like 100. 2 is too many. You know, I've done a little bit of research on it, and you'll hear people talk about it, and they'll say the best way to keep from boogering up the top of a screw is use the right size screwdriver. So got me a set. Tina got these screwdrivers for me a good little old while back. They got a lot of different bits that go along with them, and we're gonna go on ahead and loosen that screw, because we're gonna have to do some adjustment. But let's take a look at that screwdriver bit right there. All right, I can already tell that that screwdriver bit is too wide for that screw head in the top of that Buckhorn sight. So we're gonna have to go a little bit smaller. Let's go to the smallest size and see where we go from there. All right, we put that one in there and it wiggles way too much. So that one don't fit well. We're gonna put that one back. We're gonna get out another one. I believe that one's gonna do the trick. I believe that's the bit head, the flat screwdriver bit head that we're gonna want to use. And I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that screw up. And I'm gonna try to give it some bear down so it don't want to ride up out of there. Beautiful, beautiful. Come right up. And thankfully we didn't booger nothing up that time. So we're gonna put that bit back, and we're gonna leave the good bit in the screwdriver, because when it's all said and done, we're going to want to tighten that set screw back down so as to try to keep that Buckhorn from moving around. I'm going to set the screwdriver set back out of the way. Now another thing we want to talk about, and I wanted to pass some thoughts on to you, you normally want to use brass hammers when you're doing any smithing work on guns, or any work in general on guns, because you don't want to dent the metal. So I got my old Bryce hammer out here. My daddy made this, I don't know, 40, 50 years ago in the shop. So it's got a little bit of history to it. And if you use a punch, you want to make sure you don't use like a steel or an iron type punch, for the same reason, because the gun's made out of steel and you don't want to ding it up. You don't have to go buy no expensive punch sets, brass punch sets, although that's nice to have. You can just get you a pretty good, decent plumbing brass screw. It would work perfect as a punch. Today we're going to use just a poplar dowel. I think that's going to give us enough movement to move it around, and we won't be dinging up the edges and sides of the buckhorn. And also, you don't want to just use the hammer to do it, because you're liable to miss. That's a big old face on that hammer. So we're going to use those for the adjustment. But to start out with, we're going to go on ahead and get us a print of 3 rounds downrange on some paper. The targets that we're going to be using are what I would normally use for sighting in a high-powered rifle. It's the targets that are actually divided up into half-inch squares. We don't have incremental adjustments on the buckhorn sight, so that's not a big deal here, but it's the kind of targets that we have a fair number of, and I like using, so that's what we're going to use today. So we'll get hunkered down here on the bench. We'll get loaded up, and we're going to send a few rounds downrange. Some more things probably to talk about before we send a round downrange is the range itself. It's important to make sure that that you know what your backstop is. Our backstop is a very high incline hill away from the creek line. We're kind of down in the valley. That's Little Horse Creek that is right ahead of us, that we're going to be firing into the valley of. So so let's send us a couple of rounds downrange. kind of see what we got. Okay, we got a pretty good group here. We're a little bit right and we're a little bit high. So we want to adjust lower on the buckhorn, and we want to adjust just fractionally left. That's a pretty doggone good group right there. I like that. There's 1, 2, 3. All right. Back to the bench for a little bit of an adjustment. All right, we got the gun unloaded. I'm gonna let the hammer down. The first adjustment we're gonna make, and by the way, I didn't mention this earlier, but we're at 50 feet. We're sighting in at 50 feet. So the first adjustment we're gonna make is easy, doesn't require any tools at all. We're gonna let the buckhorn down a little bit. So we're gonna lift up on the buckhorn and slide the base out to where it's in that rear slot. All right. And now, you know, we were shooting right, so we're going to adjust the buckhorn fractionally left. We're going to take our poplar dowel that we're going to use as a punch. Daddy's old brass hammer. We're going to get right there on the edge of the base of the buckhorn. And give it a couple whacks. That may be all it takes. I'm hoping so. Because it didn't need much adjustment. But if I was trying to pop a squirrel with it, and if I was trying to get him in the head, I'm liable to shoot right by him. So let's go on ahead and load back up. Three rounds down the tube. Well, that didn't work out too good. We moved up and still in line. So we got more work to do. Still a good group though. Well, I ended up with a flyer. I'm way up here and I'm way down here, so that group didn't work out well at all. I don't know what in the world's going on. Apparently was not holding it as well. If I could get them all on top of that, if that was where I was printing, like right there, an inch high, yeah, I could probably work with that pretty good, but going to go make just a little bit more adjustment and send 3 more downrange. Got another one right in here, and then those 2 up there. One here, one here, and one there. Yeah, not too happy with the way I'm holding it. Back to the bench. Well, I got those two without any problem. So now, I don't know where the third shot went. Unless that's actually two holes, and I don't think it is. Or unless it went there. So now we've overcompensated. And that is even worse. Let's go back a little bit. One, two, three. 2 inches high. One right here. And then these two. I'm going to mess with it a little bit more. I know a lot of it's the way I'm holding it though. I believe we've over adjusted again. Getting harder to see. I got one right here. That may be a second one right there, and then there's one right here. Nope, it's right there. 1, 2, 3. That was a good group, but not where I want it. Okay. All right, that time I was shooting here. And those two right there aren't bad. I didn't hold a good tight group, but at least I'm closer to where I ought to be. Not so much that one, of course. Let's take a few more shots. Again, ended up with a flyer, but those two, I like the looks of those. Yep, like the looks of those two right there. Now we'll put a couple more down range. Now I know I took 3 shots. And that, I guess that's 2 holes. Yeah. Because it's pushed out there and okay. I think we're going to leave it at that. I mean, that one is an easy one to mark. This above is easy to mark. And I actually believe my 3rd one is there. Kind of unusual to go right down the same hole, but if you look, that looks like clean breaks at the top and the bottom. So I believe we finally got there. It shouldn't have been that hard. It shouldn't have took that many shots. But that's a pretty good indicator of real life sighting in. Or at least real life down here at Little Horse Creek Adventures for me today. I'm pleased enough. I mean, if that was the squirrel's head, I believe I'd have probably got him. I might would have grazed right over his ears with that one, but them two, it would have been over with. We'd have had a squirrel on the ground. But anyway, took a while, but we got it done. And not sure what the next video is going to be, but appreciate y'all watching, and hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed popping off a few rounds, and y'all take care. Bye-bye.